Really?
Mics are hot.
Yeah, it's all good. You'll have a good time when you go ahead and call the meeting to order. Let the notice that Alderman Cox and Alderman Pena are absent. The rest of the aldermen are present. Please stand. Mr. Glorioso leads in the invocation, and Mr. Blackman in the pledge.
Everybody, please bow your heads. Thank you for bringing us together today in the spirit of generosity. May we honor one another by keeping an open mind. May we voice our truth and listen with an open heart. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any addendums to the agenda?
Mayor, I'd like to add 4 new hires that did not make the agenda to the addendum. I need to add the hire of Ronnie Ryan, Animal Control for PD. The hire of Cody Franklin, Public Works Sewer Laborer. Calvin Williams, Public Works Sewer Laborer. And Charles Molden, Public Works Street Laborer. And then we also have one other item to add is a travel, authorized out-of-state travel for employee number 1630 to the National Fire Academy.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda with the stated addendum? Motion by
Second.
Mr. Wade, second by Mr. Arthamont. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We got some recognition of certificates of employment tonight. Of people, I'm surprised they've made it as long as they have. First one is 25 years of dedication, commitment, and loyalty to the City of Ocean Springs Public Works Department. Public Works Assistant Director, Mr. Gerald Brew. Next certificate is for 15 years of dedication, commitment, and loyalty to the City of Ocean Springs Police Department. Police Captain Shane Tyner.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next one is for 10 years of dedication, commitment, and loyalty to the City of Ocean Springs Fire Department. Battalion Chief Jacob Jones. Next one is 5 years of dedication, commitment, and loyalty to the City of Ocean Springs Fire Department, Fire Captain Nicholas Tinker.
Thank you, sir.
Next one is for 5 years of dedication, commitment, and loyalty to the City of Ocean Springs Fire Department, Public Works Director, Public Works Labor.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yes, Richard Jones.
Okay. Richard Miller. Next item on this thing his dedication, commitment, and loyalty to the City of Ocean Springs Public Works laborer, Kevin Rubel.
Turn your mic back on, we had a little issue down here.
Okay, we have a couple public hearings. First one is to adopt an ordinance, an amendment to the UDC amending the following sections, Chapter 3, zoning districts, building types, and uses, Section 3.9.2, in the overlay zoning district, Porter Avenue corridor. Planning Commission recommends approval. Is there a motion to open the public hearing? So moved. Motion by Mr. Arthemont.
Second.
Second by Mr. Blackman. All in favor?
Aye.
Carter?
Hi, Carter Thompson, Community Development Director, City of Ocean Springs. This is an amendment to the Unified Development Code to allow for expansion of the Porter Avenue corridor plan or overlay district. In your packets, you have some language that was proposed. Section 3.9.4 Porter Avenue corridor represents one, I'm not going to read the whole entire thing. It gives a description of the boundaries of the Porter House overlay. And then it goes on to say that it includes properties, Porter Avenue between Front Beach on the west and Martin Avenue to the east, including properties that meet the following criteria designated as zoning district RM2, constructed prior to May 2024, and 3, adjacent to Ethel Circle. These properties are shown in the Porter Avenue redevelopment district map. That's all I have.
Okay. Anyone have any questions from the board? Anyone in the audience would like to speak for or against the changes? Okay, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
We have one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't see you over there.
Motion to
We always
close public hearing. Second.
This will be the highlight of the evening.
The pressure. Dominus Grove, 317 Pine Drive here in Ocean Springs. I first of all want to applaud both the Planning Department and Planning Commission for this amendment. I believe that it is a good fit for that corridor. I believe if you look at what was done several years ago when the UDC established the Porter Avenue corridor, it just kind of, I'm not going to say accidentally left this area out, but it was an area that I don't think anybody really expected the corridor to evolve like it has in the past few years. So I think your zoning has done what it was supposed to do, and as a result, the properties within this expanded area have seen some blood pressures and want to be part of the corridor and exactly do what it talks about, which is encouragement of tourism and other related uses. So I applaud, like I said, the Planning Commission, the Planning Department, and this body for your efforts. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak for or against the ordinance change? Okay, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Blackman,
Second.
second by Mr. Impey. All in favor?
Aye.
Do I need, do a roll call on this?
Aye.
Well, we gotta make I'll make a motion to approve.
Adopt it,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry,
Go
adopt
ahead.
it.
Trying to get
Oh,
out.
I'm sorry, make a motion to adopt the ordinance update to the Unified Development Code.
Okay, got a motion, second by Mr. Arthemont. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is to adopt an ordinance, an amendment to the zoning regulations on residential short-term rentals. Planning Commission recommends approval. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wade,
Second.
second by Mr. Blackman. All in favor?
Aye.
Carter?
This is Carter Thompson, Community Development Director, Ocean Springs. This is an expansion, and it is in tandem with the Porter Avenue overlay district expansion. It is section 501-A of the short-term density zone. So it expands those borders, and what it says is it's including the existing downtown overlays identified in section 3.9.5 of the Unified Development Code, and the Porter Avenue overlay district is identified in section 3.9.4 of the Unified Development Code. a map illustrating both the density zone and the downtown overlay district are provided. So it just expanded the area to short-term rentals for that density zone in the downtown area. That's all I have.
Anyone from the board have any questions? Does anyone would like to speak for or against?
For or against?
Yes, sir.
Jeff Hall, Ward 2. I'm looking at the memo from the planning department to the board. And it says, the PC members considered the report from staff describing the reason for and the impact of this amendment and comments and questions from citizens at the meeting. The reason that I heard from the planning department as to why this amendment is being put forward is to make it consistent with the downtown overlay, to make the Porter Avenue overlay consistent with the downtown overlay. That doesn't seem like a good reason to me. That makes no sense. Why do they have to be consistent? You've got 40 units at the old Jeff Davis apartments that are now part of this overlay that will now be part of that unlimited cap for short-term rentals. That makes probably more sense as to why this is happening. But, I was here 2 weeks ago talking about how the city has gone from 35 to 115 short-term rentals since 2015, since you instituted a cap. And so that's basically tripling the amount of short-term rentals. And that doesn't include downtown, which is unlimited. And now it's not going to include the Porter overlay, which is unlimited. The whole purpose of the cap was to protect citizens, their right to private enjoyment against too much tourism. That's why you have that original ordinance. And you just keep increasing. Pretty soon the whole town is going to be unlimited short-term rentals. That's the trajectory this town is on. So enough is enough. You have a choice here to vote for residents or vote for tourists. Your choice, but people are watching. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak for or against the ordinance change?
Sure, I'd like to speak on this. Once again, still Don Strutt through us on High Drive. I believe if you look at the Porter Avenue court ordinance, it talks about tourism. It talks about making the area more tourist friendly. When you think about this particular property, this is actually where you want tourism to be. It's not necessarily in your single-family residential neighborhoods that has a cap on it. You want to really push the short-term rentals in areas like the downtown overlay district or along the corridor district. That's where you want your tourism to be, not clogging up single-family neighborhoods along East Beach and Runt Beach and other locations. You want them in areas that are commercial in nature. This property actually abuts commercial. It's already zoned RM2. I believe the original ordinance actually allowed short-term rentals in the RM2 by right. So there are places that it fits. I don't believe that the board is trying to expand or make it unlimited for short-term rentals throughout the city. I believe you're making a very smart decision in saying this is where they belong. This is where we want to encourage it. And if you have more supply where they belong, you may have less demand in places where they're not so welcome. So I think your planning department and planning commission has done a really good job, and I hope you'll vote for this amendment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak for or against?
Ellen Hall, 1217 Sunset, and I'd like to talk about the short-term rentals. I got on Googled Airbnb and said, I want to stay in Ocean Springs in September. How many Airbnb units are available inside Ocean Springs city limit? And it was over 1,000. How is that possible? It's a lot. I know in State West, I've personally handed out about 1,000 flyers at doors, and as I've gone door to door, I go into neighborhoods where there are a lot of empty houses with combination locks and things, and then I'll finally get to a house where somebody's standing out in the yard and they'll talk to me and they'll say, no one lives there, no one lives there, I'm pretty much the only one on this street, my neighborhood's gone. So if that's what you want across the city, that's what you're getting. And also, I feel like the way that you guys are handling this doesn't have any logic, like Jeff Hall was just saying. I approach things very logically, and I need to have data before I make a decision. It's not based on what I'm going to get out of it or whatever that's going to happen. And I feel like I'm going through the whole COVID epidemic again. You know, it's like, we don't wear masks because it's not necessary, it's not going to do any good. Oh, now we're all going to wear masks. And, oh, we have to be 6 feet apart. But on an airplane, we're going to be sitting right next to each other. And that's how I feel like, okay, 30 is the right number, 35, because we know what's the right amount for the city, and then all of a sudden, we're at over 1,000. So I don't understand the analysis and the data behind your system here, other than, oh, I want it to be consistent with the other overlay. That doesn't have any data behind it. You know, you guys say that you did an analysis. I'd like to see what that analysis is. Show me the data. You know, it's like, you guys never have the analysis, the financial analysis, the data behind anything. It's like, somebody called you and said, this is what we want, or whatever. It doesn't seem to be based on any data. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak for or against the ordinance change?
B. Wickman, 1518 Porter. My next door neighbor is a Verbo, and there's very seldom anybody there. There's several on the ward, some on Magnolia I know that are now looking for. I'm wondering, and I've asked this before, do y'all ever call these people and see how often these places are rented? Why are we, when you started out, I thought we were going to be limited to 25. And now, downtown is just empty half the time when it comes to looking at people actually living in the houses downtown. Does anyone ever check to see how often these places are actually rented? Any answers? Don't you think that would be a good idea before you keep approving more to see how often the ones that you've already approved are actually having someone stay there? Because as somebody who's almost 80, I can tell you that having no next door neighbor, having a house across the street from me that sold recently for $399 that nobody has ever lived in since, but the guy that bought it is trying to flip it for $655. It's sad. I don't have any neighbors. If I wanted to go out and fell down my steps, as I have done before, I might just lay there for a while, and I've done that before too, because I have found that people will just drive on down the street. They can see you laying there and they don't bother to stop, although I will say that the last time I fell after crossing the street, there was a gentleman kind enough to stop and help me up, and someone else stopped right behind him and wanted to know if I needed a ride anywhere, which I did not. But before we keep just approving these places, I do think something should be done about calling the ones that are already licensed and saying, how often are you renting? Because especially if you want to talk about building a hotel anywhere, we don't need a whole city of nothing but empty rooms and empty houses. I like neighbors myself. Thank you. Even though I was the mayor.
Anyone else like to speak for or against the ordinance change? Okay, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Ampe. Second. Second by Mr. Aldermen. All in favor? To close it?
Oh, aye.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to adopt or not adopt the ordinance change?
I'll make a motion. Adopt an ordinance, the zoning regulation on residential short-term rental. Planning Commission recommends approval.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Blackman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Impey. Need a roll call?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is public agenda public comment. The public is invited to address the board up to 3 minutes each for a maximum period of 30 minutes, only regarding issues listed on this agenda. Please identify yourself and the agenda item before speaking.
Wait.
Okay?
Is it a general call?
It's agenda item comments. All right, moving on to new business. Adopt Fire Chief Ryan Heath as the City of Ocean Springs Emergency Operations Director effective immediately.
So moved.
Second by Mr. Impey, second by Mr. Aldermen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item under new business, an ordinance introduction and amendment to the Ocean Springs Code of Ordinances to revise Chapter 14, Article 5. Ordinance introduction is so that the board has ample time to review the proposed ordinance and to request any edits before adoption of the next meeting. Is there any discussion or motion to proceed with the ordinance as written for the next meeting?
I got a discussion. I'd like to request that we remove section 14-12-8B. That's with that pertains to other cities being able to operate their vehicle in Ocean Springs with their city approvals. So I'd like to amend that we remove that.
So you don't want to reciprocate with other cities, is what you're saying?
No, because I think it's too hard for us to be able to tell who has insurance. I don't know what other cities are doing, and I just think it's not good to do that.
Can't argue that. All right.
No more discussion?
Any more? Anything else?
Then I'll make the motion that we approve the, well, we're not really approving anything, it's going, okay.
You're just making an adjustment there.
To move forward with the ordinance with that edit.
With that adjustment.
So you made that motion? and-
Yeah, I'd like to make that motion that we move forward with that ordinance with removing section 14-128B.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Aldermen, second by Mr. Impey. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All, motion passes. Next item is ordinance introduction, ordinance amending Chapter 21, Article 1 to add Section 21-3.2 regarding pedestrian safety. This is another introduction of adoption for the next meeting. Is there any discussion, or is there a motion to proceed with the ordinance as written for the next meeting?
I'll make a motion to proceed.
Motion by Mr. Aldermen.
Second.
Second by Mr. Impey. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next ordinance introduction. An amendment prescribing the new charges for water and sewer service. And again, the final ordinance introduction is tonight. Is there any discussion, or is there a motion to proceed with the ordinance as written?
Make a motion to proceed.
Motion by Mr. Impey.
Second.
Second by Mr. Wade. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Does anyone have anything to pull from the consent agenda?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to approve the consent
Make a
agenda?
motion to approve the consent agenda.
Have a motion by Mr. Impey,
Second.
second by Mr. Blackman. All in favor?
Aye.
carries. Moving on to department reports. Does anybody have anything to pull from the docket of claims?
I make a motion that we approve the docket of claims. All expenditures are appropriate and authorized by law, and spread summary on the minutes.
Motion by Mr. Aldermen.
Second.
Who's the second?
I do.
Motion, second by Mr. Ampe.
Close to the mic.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Does anyone have any questions on the monthly budget report?
Make a motion to accept the monthly budget report.
Okay, motion by Mr. Ampe,
Second.
second by Ms. Burgess. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to authorize a $1,300.34 budget expense increase for the capital group?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Ampe,
Second.
second by Mr. Aldermen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to authorize the budget amendments?
Yes, sir. So moved.
Motion by Mr. Ampe,
Second.
second by Ms. Burgess. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is general public comment. The public is invited to address the board for up to 3 minutes each for a maximum of 30 minutes. Only 2 speakers will be allowed per side of each issue. Please identify yourself before speaking.
Sorry. Yeah, D. Wickman, 1518 Porter Avenue. While you were talking about safety of walking, as a lot of you know, I walk my dog downtown and back every morning. This morning, when I was walking, not only was the sidewalk closed off in front of some of the places going up, but there was a big orange tape out in the street with a cone out there. So, I mean, I was literally walking in the middle of the street to get around there. Also, I know that when Bill's property was sold and new houses built there, they put some flower beds in the middle of the street. But I was shocked last Sunday night to be coming from Van Cleve and going down Ocean Springs Road, which is a narrow 2-lane road, and there are flower beds being built in the middle of it. That's not safe.
Those are not flower beds. Those
What
are
is-
turning lanes. You have designated turning lanes that are
But you've
going
got
to
a
be,
curb this high.
yes ma'am, they're designated turning lanes so they can be clearly seen. We've had too many rear ends and rear endings, and we've had fatalities on that road for people trying to turn into those neighborhoods. And so those are designated turn lanes for
I've never
each of the
seen anything
neighborhoods.
like that
That's part of the
before.
widening project, that's too, right?
In just those sections.
Yes.
It's not widening the entire road. It's widening so that to allow for people to turn into the subdivisions. Yeah, they're not flower beds.
Well, funny, they look like flower beds.
Well, you gotta trust the
Anyway, I do wish
process.
that something could be done to make the city safer for people that walk. There are a lot of people that walk early in the morning. Men and women, some have dogs, a lot do not. And right now, there's so much building going on in the downtown area, when you've got the sidewalks blocked off and then trucks parked all along the side, it literally makes you have to get out and practically walk in the middle of the street to keep walking down the street. So it is dangerous, and I don't know what you can do about it, but y'all are the experts, so I'll leave it to you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, or good evening, excuse me. My name is Derek Altman. I'm speaking really on behalf of my mom and dad. I've been a resident, grew up here all my life, but I'm returning following retirement. And so I'm spending a lot more time at my parents', and I'm really here to talk about the concern that my parents have and our neighbors in reference to some of the things going on following annexation. I grew up on Richmond Street, which is right off of OCC Camp, and I've spoken with Raven, and who's been really helpful in trying to get some things done, but I guess I came tonight with a list of concerns, but really, in all honesty, I'll put that to the side and really talk about maybe the communication piece that's missing in reference to all of the people who have been living or out where the annexation occurred. I'm just concerned about just things like the care of roads and ditches. It took 3, 4, 5 phone calls just to get the ditches mowed. They were mowed, but the streets were not. But there are also concerns with speeding in the area. There are 2 children with disabilities on my parents' street. There are only 2 homes there. One child is deaf. My niece has autism, so therefore the speeding, my neighbors are asking for at least someone to come out and look at the consideration of speed bumps. But I think right now, the lack of communication in the process of when things will get started following the annexation would be important to the neighbors and the many people who are out there. You know, I was looking at some of the paperwork that was sent to my mom and dad. It had welcome to Ocean Springs. Well, they've been there for 51 years. So, I mean, they've been in Ocean Springs, but the consideration of the needs of getting things done, that's a concern. It's something that needs to really be addressed with all of them if we could get people together and communicate those types of things. So I'm just really here to talk about those things and the safety part of the speeding and the neglect of, I wouldn't say neglect, just the visibility of more police coverage with people in the Colonial Estates area, speeding and littering and those kinds of things. So my concern is communicating with those residents who are now part of, legally, of Ocean Springs following the annexation. So that's what I had to say.
As a start, I think, Gerald, could you get with this gentleman after the meeting? I think at the very minimum, we could at least put some signage out on the streets, deaf child to play or whatever.
We have
whatever.
it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, we have a sign that says deaf. We do not have a sign that says autism because at the time I got the deaf sign put up for my niece, they didn't make them. Now they do, but I had no luck getting it put up yet. So, yes, but the overall concern of just the need of services. I think the thing my parents are asking and the neighbors are asking, what are we going to get now, even though, the county provided our needs, but will we get our needs met now that we are a part of the city? And I'm speaking on behalf of my parents and our neighbors, those who are, want to say something about it, So.
Let me assure you, your needs are going to be met.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. Hey, I'm sorry, was there another question?
No, I said your needs will be met and their needs will be met, and we are communicating. We sent out a mailer to everybody in the annexation area. We've got information on our website, social media pages, and we're providing all the services that you received from the county plus additional.
Okay.
You may not see it. It's happening.
I'm sure there are these, and I'm sure that those things are being done. We've got them, they come out and mow the streets or the ditches and so forth, but there's still concern. I don't think, even though the flyers were sent out, I don't think verbally people have seen anyone to come out and address it. I think, I know that's old-fashioned, but I think actual verbal conversation or some kind of communication with people directly may hit home a little bit better.
I have a question. Is that street that your parents live on a cross street to another street?
It's Richmond Street, which curves around to, I think, Dina. I don't know. I can't remember, even though I grew up there. But it doesn't. It's just one street that curves around.
So you think it's neighbors that are doing that speeding that are coming out of there? Because, I mean...
It's not. I'm not going to call names, but it is.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Right. I was just curious. I didn't know that street was a cross street.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alderman.
Ellen Hall, 1217 Sunset. So I think a lot of us would like to move in the annexed area. That sounds great. So all our needs will be met if we are in the annexed area. I'm like excited about that. The reason I'm up here tonight is to talk about noise. I actually have gone and met with all the bar owners, restaurant bar owners, and talked to them about the federal law for OSHA and how the workers are having to listen to 100 dB as, what's his name? Timothy Johnson talked about the 100 dB and how it dissipates after so many meters, etc. And so looking at the OSHA requirements, it has to be below 85 dB inside where the worker's ears and the little hairs in your ears, they vibrate, and the noise when it's above 85, there's a lot of studies that show it is absolute science that you will lose your hearing at a very early age if you are exposed to that loud noise for over so many hours. There's a nice little table you can find on the federal website for OSHA that explains all that. And the workers who are exposed to that higher than that are probably going to be a liability to these bar owners or restaurant owners if they're pushing that. So I believe that many of the bar owners did get a letter from OSHA, and they have voluntarily reduced the sound of their music down to a more acceptable level. And everybody that lives around and behind the bars are so thankful. And I want to thank all the bar owners for doing this. I actually went bar to bar and talked to the owners, and even got a call back from Will Taylor of Glory Bound, because his was at 90 dB several nights. And when I explained all this to him, he was like, yeah, I'm on it. I'm going to work on it. So I'm just very, very appreciative that people actually respect the residents, that I went door to door on Robinson Street, the historic black neighborhoods behind those, where the people just have no relief from this. And we're still working on a few bars that are not. Like, for instance, Kenny Williams Mosaic has refused to speak with me. But he has been below the 85 threshold. So I'm very excited about that. And I don't know if you guys had anything to do with that, talking to them or whatever. But Ricky, I know you're Alderman Ward 2. I appreciate that. If you were anything to do with that, I have no idea. But I just want to thank you all and keep up that good work. Thanks.
Anybody else would like to address the board? Okay. Moving on to Mayor and Alderman's Forum. Ms. Burgess?
Well, Gerald, I'm gonna have to ask you, so I was checking on the status of those signs for Golioka. Y'all have had those for a while, and I know we had talked about it a couple of weeks back, and
I know today, I spoke with Monica today. They've got most of the lettering all cut and whatever else.
And just for clarification, she's doing that by hand, so on every sign and putting the letters on there. So it's not something that's like machine operated. So it is taking a while? Okay. I was just trying.
I was actually going to talk to you after the meeting about some more bars and stuff anyway, so.
No, that'd be great. That'd be great. The other little thing was now that the workers are gone off of Ocean Springs Road in the entrance part of it, because now they're focusing on the middle. Y'all did such a great job on the entrances. I was going to see if we could get beautification out there to just weed eat, because it's overgrown and covering up that, and that's the right of way. So, thank you.
Just want to remind everybody, tomorrow night is our fireworks.
That's it. That's time, and where they just finished the dirt and all, the ditch. Is there any way we can get some grass seeds planted? I had a few neighbors call saying it looks great, and it does. But if we can maybe get some seeds and get some grass growing, keep that.
Talk from the lift station side.
Yeah.
You just did that?
No.
Oh, you're talking about the rocks?
From the rocks, yeah.
Yeah.
Right there around Kensington. That's it.
I got some good news. The Government Street project's moving along well. The road was opened back up this morning to traffic, and they were running a little ahead of schedule. They had a 2-week closure planned, and we used the full 2 weeks, but we got more done than was planned to be done, so there will not be another total road closure out that way. So the next closure will be maybe just a half a lane or something while they're doing some work. So the total road closure, I understand, is complete. So it's good news. That project's been a long time coming. I'm glad to get that one behind us. So.
That freed up like 100 parking spots behind the Civic Center, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Sure did. About all that bridge section's in place this week. Go right by and look at it. Looks good. That's all.
Normally I'll take care of this outside the meeting, but Gerald, Alan, I was going to touch base with him. I understand his wife is ill tonight, but he said Stephen was measuring the footage for the drainage pipes on Riley to get with Graham. Is there any movement on that? And
I know he's been out there, and and getting that information, because I don't know exactly where he's at with Graham. I don't know, contact them or not.
Okay.
But he has been gathering information and
Because as soon as we get a schedule on the replacement of those 4 pipes on Riley, I want to put out a press statement to everybody in that area, including our annexed citizens that live out there, because that will affect traffic on Riley for several days. Each pipe, I think, is projected to take 1 to 2 days to replace. I've already spoken to the pastor at St. Louis Seton on Riley Road, so they can possibly adjust their services, or at least let people know when that work is going to take place. I know it's going to be sometime the first half of July, hopefully no later in July, because it's got to be done before we get back to school and those buses start running on Riley.
I will find out tomorrow morning and give you a call.
All right, thanks, sir.
Okay, as Ricky said, Independence Day celebration tomorrow. The band starts at 6 and the fireworks at 9. So we look forward to good, clear weather and a great fireworks show. We don't have anything for executive sessions, so is there a motion to recess until 6 p.m. on July the 16th?
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mr. Impey, second by Mr. Wade. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Let me know what are you just gonna write a letter? You said.
I can call them too. I'm gonna try to reach out with an email or something.